stand, recite the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
On this day, Wednesday, April 11th, 2012, at 4:05 p.m., the regularly scheduled board meeting of the Chicago Park District is being held in the 8th floor boardroom of the Administration Building at 541 North Fairbanks Court, Chicago, Illinois. Will the Secretary take a roll call of the Commissioners?
Yes, sir. Commissioner Shalaby? Commissioner Kolbeck? Commissioner Hamlin?
Here.
Commissioner Lavelle? Here. Commissioner Salgado? Commissioner Armstrong?
Here.
President Traubert?
Here.
Quorum is present. Let the record reflect that General Superintendent Michael Kelly and First Deputy General Counsel Timothy King are also in attendance.
This meeting will please come to order. We're going to start off by going out of order. I'm going to toss it over to Mike Kelly, and we have a special guest here, and we just saw a video presentation 3 minutes ago and decided to add it to the schedule.
Thank you, Brian. Yep, in fact, we do have a special guest here today. His name is Charlie Jones. He's with C3 Partners, and as many of you know, C3 has been a longtime partner with the Chicago Park District with Lollapalooza, and we recently announced that we reached a new agreement, an agreement that's better for the city of Chicago, it's better for the state of Illinois, and it's certainly better for the Chicago Park District. The lineup was announced last night at midnight, but for many of us who weren't up at that hour, we didn't see it. Charlie's been kind enough to bring in the video, and if you'll indulge us, we're going to push play and watch a 2.5-minute video on what the lineup is for 2012.
A million unique watches just from our website.
You can't hear that in the back, more than 1 million. Worldwide?
So far, today.
Today.
Very cool.
Wow.
Charlie, how many acts?
It's 130-ish.
Wow.
But
Takes a year to pull that together, doesn't
yeah,
it?
it sure does.
He just got back from Brazil, South America. Pulled it off down there, too. Well, listen, we're very excited. It's great. It's going to be another great 10 years. You've been a great partner in the past. You're going to be a great partner in the future. And we at the Park District are very proud of this partnership.
Well, thank you so much for your support.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here, Charlie.
It's clear that the people support Lollapalooza.
How about it?
You know, I'll just tell you a quick story on that. I was on vacation with my family in Colorado in March. We went out to dinner and met a couple families we didn't know. They were from New York, and they asked where we were from. We said Chicago. And there were, I don't know, probably 5, between 14 and 17. And they said, "You live in Chicago? That's an unbelievable town. We'd love to live there someday." And I said, "Well, why would you say that?" They said, "We've been to Lollapalooza." And so, you know, who knows what that brings in from branding and aspiration. So anyway, it was glad we've got this squared away, and it's very exciting.
Right.
So we'll get back to the schedule. Item number 1, certificate of filing, acknowledging receipt of the certificates of annual abatement by Cook and DuPage County clerks. This will be marked as received and filed by the Secretary. Item number 2, approval of the minutes from the regular board meeting held on Wednesday, March 14th, 2012. May I have a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Second.
Will the Secretary take a roll call for the adoption of the matter?
Yes, sir. Commissioner Kolbeck?
Aye.
Let the record reflect that Commissioner Kolbeck has joined the meeting. Commissioner Hamlin?
Aye.
Commissioner Lavelle?
Aye.
Vice President Armstrong?
Aye.
President Traubert?
Aye.
Motion carried and the minutes are adopted.
Next, under presentations from the departments, there is nothing to present. Next on the agenda is people in the parks. Will the Secretary please call the names of those who have signed up to speak?
Yes, sir. Our first 3 speakers are Cecilia Butler, Leroy Bowers, and John Wiskert.
Hi, good afternoon. Cecilia Butler, Washington Park Advisory Council. The good news is that on June 3rd, and I'm giving you this date for you to put it on your calendar, Superintendent and Commissioners, June 3rd, the Washington Park Advisory Council is sponsoring our gala. This is something that we don't do every year, but every 2 to 3 years. It's time. And the person that we're the most proudest of dealing with this event is the South Regional Manager, Elizabeth Milan. She has been one of the best regional managers that Washington Park has experienced in the last 26 years. So, yes, we are honoring her and thanking her. We're also honoring State Senator Maddie Hunter for her commitment to Washington Park, and Maddie Butler of Woodlawn. She's done some great things for us in Washington Park. But that's also the kickoff for the Dr. Margaret Burroughs stamp, thanks to Dana from the, I don't know, she works with you, right?
Correct.
Right, and she sent me some information to get us started, so that's going to be the official kickoff, so I hope you all come in the next month. I'll be back with your invitations. So, good news. Semi-news is that I still have complaints. We have a great area manager about the use of the ball fields. He told us one thing. Someone, before I left today, told me there's something else happening. They're not being transparent. And as I mentioned to the superintendent, the only way we can be transparent dealing with fees is for it to be written out, like they are for day camp and others. So let's put it on paper, and then no one complains because it's right there. So that's it for today.
Cecilia, may I ask you a question?
Yes.
This park is in my neighborhood. What do you believe is happening that causes you concern about the fees?
Well, Washington Park some years ago, we were audited because there was a complaint. And I think in Washington Park, fees are given at the height, the maximum, whatever it is. We're also the most, our heaviest use park on the south side, you know. So I think the use of the fees in Washington Park is extremely high compared to other people that might get it free, who might get it at a discount. Again,
30 seconds remaining.
Yes, if we had it on paper, then there wouldn't be any complaints. There wouldn't be no one saying, well, I was charged per hour, and someone else saying I was charged per game. Because we have as many as 300 or 400 games a week. And this is just baseball and softball. So that doesn't include cricket, frisbee, you name it that goes on in the park. So, I mean, I'm not pointing any fingers, but if it's on paper, that's where I can route them to. Check the book.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
Two things. One, just we didn't raise fees this year, right?
Well,
No, we didn't. I mean, if they did, I wouldn't know about it because we didn't.
All right.
We did not raise fees this year. In fact, we lowered fees. We tried to give families discounts on multiple children and on families of military. So we tried to lower the fees.
Right.
As far as the specifics go, you probably need to see Alonzo and Liz. They could probably straighten all that out for you.
Right. But when I talk to my people on the south side and in our area, they tell me what they do. We have 3 other areas, regions, that unless I can see it on paper, do I know what they're doing? And that's my concern, to be able to pull it up on the internet to see if you...
your 2 minutes?
No, I'm asking a question. I'm asking a question.
If you want to form a team and you want to use a baseball diamond for 4 months in the summer, how much is it going to cost? Is it per hour, per team, per game? You know, that type of thing.
It's per hour.
And that's what the area person told me. But at the same time, we have people saying that, well, you know, over there, they gave it to us free. Over there, you know. But again, my area manager said, no, we don't do it that way.
All right, let's do it. See if you can straighten this out with Alonzo and Liz. And if you can't, you obviously know how to get a hold of me, and I'll help straighten it out.
Okay, well, again, if we can pull it up on the internet, then everybody sees what it is, and then there's you know, if somebody wants to give the use of that field free, well, that's their business, but that also opens the door for someone charging half price.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Celia.
Thank you. See you next month.
Yep.
Mr. Bowers?
He's not here.
Mr. Whiskered? Okay.
I know what he wants.
Our next 3 speakers are Misty Drake, George Blakemore, and Bobby Townsend.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Misty Drake. I actually reside in Austin, and so The reason why I'm here today is because I really want to express my level of concern as it relates to program offerings on the west side, particularly in the Austin neighborhood, compared to other offerings throughout the city of Chicago. So when I kind of go on your website, which is a very robust website, and I can definitely give the Park District credit for saying that you guys offer a great service, it's just not in my neighborhood. So I have to go outside of my neighborhood for a number of different things. So right now, my 2 girls are in ballet all the way in Washington Park. I live in Austin. The other one is in gymnastics. I go past several different parks to go all the way to Pilsen, Harrison Park for it. You guys offer piano. That's all the way up north. Like, I just cannot, it's unfair for me to travel all across the city to engage in the level of activities that you guys have, but it's just not offered in my neighborhood. So I really encourage you guys to really think about how you distribute these very quality activities so that it's affordable and accessible to all residents. And then also, too, how you're communicating the information and that it's a consistent plan in terms of how you communicate it. So, you know, here's a local newspaper that's distributed in the South Loop, the West Loop, and then in the near West Side. There's a full, half-page advertising about the camps. I mean, this came out in February. A local issue that's on the west side of Chicago. I mean, there are multiple news publications on the west side of Chicago. It's nothing in here to communicate about your camps. The only reason why I know about your camps is because I get emails. If I didn't get emails, it wouldn't happen. So I think we need to also just think about how we're communicating to community residents about what you offer.
You're on our blast email.
I am.
You're registered with us. Good. Well, that's good. That's probably the best way that we communicate with our users.
But there are people in my neighborhood that do not have access to emails.
Fair enough. And I know Jessica, my director of communications, is hearing everything you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
I do want to point you to Vaughn Bryant, though, the chief program officer.
Mm-hmm.
I want the same things you want. I want to offer the same program citywide for everybody. Ballet, piano, we can work on that. Gymnastics is a little bit tougher,
Mm-hmm.
right? I mean, I can't have a I wish I had more gymnastic centers. That's a space-driven issue.
Mm-hmm.
But piano, ballet, work with Vaughn. I mean, we have the same goals you do,
Mm-hmm.
which is bring more programming throughout the city.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Okay.
Would you mind?
I have a foundational question, though,
Yep.
that might help inform this whole thing. Is it driven by the number of people in a community who express interest in a program?
To some extent, yes.
Well,
So,
how do you get that interest? I mean, I used to run a fitness center in North Lawndale. Nobody thought that people would go out to exercise. I mean, it is a busy fitness center on the Chicago West Side. So how do you garner that information?
You also have to temper it with the fact that we're coming off of years of cuts on staff, years of cuts. We're just starting to come out of that, and that's why we've hired over, I think, 100 people since November.
Mm-hmm.
You may not know that, but years of cuts where our staffing levels have probably never been lower. We're just coming out of that. Now is the opportunity to be looking at these things. All I can say is I appreciate you coming down. I appreciate this. No one's ever come to me and said they're not offering ballet or they're not offering piano in Austin. No one's ever said that to me.
Okay.
So I will follow up as well with Vaughn and his team. But that's the only way I know how to.
So, like, here's
keep
another
it
example.
well.
So we have, like, this nice soccer field that's in Garfield Park. Like,
Okay.
we're not offering any soccer, but it's this beautiful field that you just completed.
Yeah, and I'd like to address that, but I don't want to get too much into detail. But we put the field in Garfield Park, and interesting, when we went to put the field in, we were told by people in the community, don't line it for soccer, just line it for football.
Mm-hmm.
We're not all that interested in soccer here. You should just line it for football. And we said, you know what? Kids here might want to play soccer.
Mm-hmm.
They just haven't had the opportunity. So we contacted the U.S. Soccer Foundation, and we told them the conversation we had at Garfield Park, and they laughed and they said, you know what? We've had the same conversation with people from Harlem and people from Watts, and we will help you activate that field, and we will offer soccer classes. And if it's anything like Harlem and Watts, in 3 to 5 years, we'll have hundreds, if not thousands, of kids playing soccer.
Absolutely.
So we care about that, and we do. We have made a real strong move to offer programs, and we're happy to share with you the programs for soccer and soccer instruction to try to promote that are in Garfield Park.
Okay. And who did you say I should?
Vicki can give you the details on that.
Oh, okay. All right.
so is there a way for her to help this process along in terms of just maybe informally assessing among other mothers that you know whether they would have an interest in some of the programs that you think you'd like to see offered?
I mean, absolutely. I mean, I don't mind doing it. I think part of it is that people don't know what's offered, and I don't think we can just use, email as a form of communication, because I can tell you everybody on my block does not have email.
Right.
It's just the reality.
I mean, what I would suggest is we organize something, if we can, ask you for your help. We organize a meeting at the park, whichever parks you think is the nearby one. We sit down with the area manager, the park supervisor, and we talk through it.
Okay.
And that's probably the best way to do it.
Okay.
I mean, that's the easiest way, the best way to talk directly with the management staff out there and say, hey, this is where we have interest.
Okay.
That's exactly what we're looking for.
Okay.
I appreciate the feedback.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Townsend?
Good evening.
Good
My
evening.
name is Bobby Townsend. I'm representing two parks. First park I'm asking about, when are you guys going to come out and name Park 532?
Where's that?
That's, pardon me?
In the fourth ward?
Yes.
Yeah, right.
When?
Yeah, we just had that, went to the board last month, so, we're gonna,
You know we have two names,
Correct.
Dr. Hattie Kate Williams and Isola Davis.
Right.
We want to put on the Grand Hog for you guys.
actually working with your alderman on that, so he's kind of driving the process, so we're gonna work with Alderman Will Burns on that.
Okay. The second thing, we want to do a breach of contract with Board of Ed about diet. Diet is subject to be closed within 4 years. And we know in the community that Chicago, University of Chicago is taking over. ESPN has did the gym. It's wonderful. ESPN has did a weight room. It's wonderful. The pool has been down since September. The grades are done. The inspector for Board of Ed has come in, and we're waiting for the license. Senior citizens, myself, and infants, toddlers do not like the cold water at Washington Park. Usually every year, JCC rents the pool out. The community don't have, use of the pool. This happened in 1999 when Jerry Chico, Paul Vallis,
30 seconds remaining.
Michael Scott turned the school into a high school. The rec center was built by Park District in 1955. Park District gave it to Board of Ed for $2. The community hasn't. With the
One more we get now.
he took two. Okay, I'm sorry.
I didn't take her time.
Yes, he did. I'm a senior citizen, Mikey. Okay. But what we want to do, since the
Want it back?
Thank you. I got my cane. Don't mind using it. But the fact of it is, since that time, we have a lot of black young men have been killed in the area. My grandson went to Board of Ed and talked to Rufus Williams.
You have exceeded your 2 minutes.
It's all right.
I interrupted.
7 years ago. He also addressed the fact that a lot of his friends don't like standing on the corner and what have you. And Rufus Williams told him, tell your friends not to stand on the corner. But he was asking for b-ball, basketball, and the pool. I think Mayor Daley's wife did that after-school program, but it cuts off at 6. We need something for the teenagers.
Right.
And you have 4 pools in the area: Carter, Diet, Phillips, DuSable, and Dunbar. But our community can't use it.
So we're setting up teen leagues throughout the city this summer.
Okay.
We're going to spend a significant amount of money on these teen leagues. Vaughn Bryant's outside. I'll relay the message to him that Washington Park is one that we should seriously look at. I would be shocked if Washington's not.
But see, you got gang territory, and also the fact that this is gang recruitment.
So we shouldn't do the league, though?
You can do the league, but we're going to need police protection.
I understand that. That's going to be part. We're going to invest in security for these leagues
Okay.
as well. The other thing on diet, we haven't been offered diet by the Board of Ed yet. We will, if we're offered, we will assess the building It may be very expensive to run, but we will take a look at taking diet back if we're offered diet.
You can do a breach of contract for the community since we haven't been using it?
I don't know. I don't know how much it costs to operate. As much as I want to tell you yes right now, ma'am.
Okay.
I gotta look and see what we're getting
Please,
into.
Mike, because we're losing our teenagers.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. God bless. And I'm going to pray for y'all
Thank you.
that we get diet back.
There are no more speakers.
Next on the agenda is a report from the Committee on Administration. Vice President Armstrong.
The Committee of Administration met on April 11th, 2012 to consider matters referred from March 15th to April 11th, 2012 and hereby recommends that its report be adopted. Item number 1, adoption of a resolution declaring official intent regarding certain capital expenditures to be reimbursed from proceeds of a bond issue. Item number 2, amendment to Chapter 3 of the Code of the Chicago Park District. Item number 3, authorization to enter into a contract for the purchase and delivery of beach grooming equipment. Item number 4, authority to extend and expand the leased area at Building J in Peterson Park. That concludes the report of the Committee on the Administration, and I move for its adoption.
Second.
Will the Secretary take a roll call for the adoption of this matter?
Yes, sir. Commissioner Koldyke?
Aye.
Commissioner Hanlon?
Aye.
Commissioner Lavelle?
Aye.
Vice President Armstrong?
Aye.
President Roberts?
Aye.
Motion carried and the report is adopted.
Next on the agenda is the report from the Committee on Capital Improvements. Commissioner Koldyke.
Committee on Capital Improvements met on April 11, 2012 to consider 9 matters referred from March 15th to April 11th and hereby recommends that its report be adopted. Item 1, authority to accept the transfer of title from Palmisano Park number 531 from the City of Chicago was adopted. Item 2, authorization to enter into a contract for the supply and delivery of turf grass seed was adopted. Item 3, authority to accept the transfer of property located at 2800 South Sacramento Avenue from the City of Chicago for a new park, park number 553, was adopted. Item 4, authorization to enter into a contract for Garfield Park Conservatory rehabilitation of propagating houses was adopted. Item 5, authorization to participate in the City of Chicago Contract 24819 for tradesman services was adopted. Item 6, authorization to enter into a change order for North Grant Park renovation design and construction administration services was adopted. Item 7, authorization to enter into a contract for design services at Park 568 was adopted. Authorization to issue final payment for work completed in connection with the ADA transition plan was adopted. Item 9, authorization to issue final payment for work completed in connection with Dunbar Park improvements was adopted. That concludes the report of the Committee on Capital Improvements, and I move for its adoption.
So moved.
Is there a second?
If no objection, we'll apply the last favorable roll call vote from the prior matter to this matter.
Motion carried and the report is adopted.
Next on the agenda is the report from the Committee of the Whole. The Committee of the Whole met this morning in executive session to meet with a representative of a statewide association of which the Park District is a member for the purpose of self-evaluation of practices and procedures. No final action was taken. That concludes the report of the Committee of the Whole, and I move for its adoption.
So moved.
Second.
If no objection, we'll apply the last favorable roll call vote from the prior matter to this matter.
Motion carried and the report is adopted.
Under unfinished business, nothing was presented for consideration. Under new business, nothing was presented for consideration. That concludes the board meeting. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. The board meeting is now adjourned. Thanks.